All right, guys, this is just kind of a precursor to pattern testing here, probably coming up in the next week or two. But it's going to be with a 20 gauge. And I know most of my content is kind of based around 10 gauge, here a 12 gauge. I've always liked the 20 gauge, been pretty passionate about it for a while. I've had one probably since my mid-teens. Never really considered it much of a waterfowl gun just because, here hunting in Pennsylvania, I don't usually get the shots that are 20 yards all the time. A lot of times it's probably more like 30 to 40 yards is probably a standard shot. However, things have changed recently, the last 2 years or so with decreased bag limits. That's kind of reduced hunting pressure and feel like you can get them in a little bit closer. The other thing is, with ammunition like this, being bismuth, I think I'm going to be comfortable to the 35, possibly 40-yard range. We'll find out. But anyways, this is Boss Bismuth, 3-inch, number 4, doing 1350, and that is 1 1/8 ounce. So pellet count is pretty good. I don't remember offhand. I'll go over that maybe the next video, but it's a pretty good, pretty well made shell. So definitely pretty nice. I think these were $285, somewhere around 300 or so shit. You guys look at the steel shot chart, you'll notice that number 2 steel at 1 1/8 ounces, which is a common payload, is 141 pellets. 1 1/4 ounces is 156. That's also a pretty common payload. And then 1 3/8 ounces, which would be a little on the slower side, and that's a more uncommon load. That'd be 172 pellets. I bring this up because number 2 steel is comparable to bismuth number 4, which is here now. You'll notice that I have 1 1/8 ounce payload in my 20 gauge Boss Bismuth, and that will bring you somewhere around the 174 pellet count. So this 1 1/8 ounce number 4 bismuth for 20 gauge is actually comparable to 1 3/8 ounce number 2 12 gauge 3-inch load. I think these are going to be a pretty darn good shell. So that's a 3-inch, 1400 feet per second, 1 ounce, and number 4 shot. That looks pretty good. That's Rio Blue Steel. I'll shoot all the stuff over at Chronograph too. I ended up getting 4 of these boxes at a gun show for $30. So that's the only reason I bought it. That's a little light on the payload, but it is with number 4s. Maybe it'll be okay. Even if I only use them for cleanup shells, that's kind of fine with me. But they are number 4s, so you should have a decent pellet count, and even in a 7/8 ounce. But the last one that I'll do, these are my reloads. And I've made these and shot these for a little while now, but they're I just use STS Hall's Win 209 primers, Hodge and Lawn Shot, 17.8 grains. I use a Rem SP20 wad and 5.5 nickel plated lead shot. These are really good on pheasants. I mean, you could definitely take them at probably 40 yards. I'll be using factory chokes and then TruLock chokes once I get to it. And the gun that I'm using is a Winchester Super X4 in 20 gauge. Got a 28-inch barrel, obviously 3-inch chamber. I got to shoot this gun a little bit more, but right now I might rank this the best 20 gauge, at least in my opinion. Probably sub that $1,200–1,300 range. I think I paid around $900 for this. This is one hell of a shotgun. I wish it would come with a shim kit for the people that it doesn't fit, but I bet you the average person doesn't even know how to use shims or what they're even looking at, or what those pieces of plastic are in the case. But it's probably a little too early to say that, but as of right now, I'm really liking this gun, and it's definitely a pretty nice shooter for the $900 range. So we're gonna see how it patterns here. You expect a video in probably about the next week or two.